High FM, 101.9 megahertz of life.
Lots of talk, of course, about peptides. We've spoken about it quite extensively. But then I saw that last week there was some developments about the FDA, and they have approved certain peptides. Joining us is Dr. Anton Meyberg. He's a specialist physician, pulmonologist. He, of course, is the co-host of the Weekly Checkup with me and him. And we wanted to ask him about it. Dr. Anton Meyberg, good morning. Hope you're well.
Good morning. How are you?
I am very good, thank you. First of all, for anybody living under a rock, what is a peptide?
So, believe it or not, there are still people living under rocks, and there are people that actually don't know what peptides are. But peptides are signal messengers. In other words, they are something that is introduced into your body to awaken the underlying peptides that you've got in your body. And a peptide is an amino acid.
Right.
It's a short chain of amino acids that's about less than 50 chains, which is comparative to a protein, which is more than 50 bonds or chains.
So the difference between a peptide and a medication is ...
Well, most medications are FDA approved.
Right.
A peptide is a natural occurring substance that actually occurs in your body and that sits dormant and that you try and reactivate.
In other words, it doesn't fix it, but it asks your body to fix whatever needs.
So that's exactly it. It takes what's there and sort of boosts it up. It gives it a good signal.
Right. Okay. So now that we understand what that is, there's a whole bunch of them, and they all do different things. We haven't got the time to go into that now, but obviously this is developing fairly fast, and a lot of people look to the FDA to understand what is okay and what isn't. Talk to me about that process.
So in the last week, there were oversight hearings with the FDA to decide if certain peptides could be recompounded. Now, what happened a number of years ago during Obamacare is that these certain peptides were actually stopped from being compounded in compounding pharmacies. So there are certain pharmacies that are licensed and they can actually make up these substances. Now, remember, big pharma is not making these substances because they're naturally occurring and there's not much sort of monetary gain for them because you can't patent these type of things. So they're being made up in compounding pharmacies. Now, if you go to a compounding pharmacy, you want to go to a pharmacy that's safe, that does things legitimately, that does things effectively with no toxins, and it's done in a regulated type of way. So what the actual FDA did this week is they had advisory committee meetings where they voted to recommend that certain peptides could be added back to those licensed compounding pharmacies and they would be allowed to be remaking them. In other words, you can't go and get gray zone peptides, even though you still can, but they want them to be made in a formulated laboratory where they can actually be regulated. So what the aim is in the next few months, hopefully, is that these certain peptides, the ones that we were talking about, there were 6 out of 7 that were allowed. It was the BPC 157, the TB 500, the KPV, MOTC, CMAX, and epithalon. And they were actually given the go-ahead to be recompounded at these pharmacies. And that means that in the next few months, they will hopefully be given more credence and the FDA will look into making them actually available and put them under trial.
Given that they are not traditional medicines, do they actually need FDA approval?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you look at things like creatine, magnesium, if you look at a whole host of other medications or vitamins, none of those are FDA approved,
Yes.
Yet they're being prescribed to many people. There's a lot of talk about these things because there's a lot of animal trials on them, but a lot of them don't have human trials. So things like SS31 and PT141 are actually FDA approved at the moment. But the other ones are slowly starting to get favor or be approved because more trials are being done on them. So should they have FDA approval? Is the FDA the be-all and end-all of all these things? I'm not quite sure. You know, it's a good authority body and it gives a lot towards development. But is Big Pharma in control of it? Who knows?
So that was going to be my question. Is the FDA is the American? It's the American body. Why is that relevant to us here?
Well, look, we go by SAHPRA, and SAHPRA controls and regulates a lot of the medications and a lot of the substances and the compounds that are done in this country. But we do follow the FDA from a lot of regulatory and compensatory and sort of decisions that are made with regards to advisory committees. because they've got such a big sort of workup, and they do such a large host of trials on these things, and they generally are a very good body.
You are becoming, I mean, you've looked into these quite extensively. I know you've given, we did one of the weekly checkups on peptides. You're giving talks on peptides. Are they all they are cracked up to be?
No, they're far more than that. So as far as I'm concerned, and I speak anecdotally, that these things are absolutely unbelievable signal messengers. They are there to add to your general treatment. So they're not there to take the place of general medication. They're not there to take the place of surgical procedures. They're there to add to your actual longevity. They're there to add to your energy levels. They're there to add to your injury recovery. They're additive medications that are superb. They help with memory, they help with sleep, they help with weight loss. I mean, if you look at it, peptides are your GLP-1s, your oxytocin, your insulins, those are peptides. The peptides we're looking at now, the advantages of using them and the benefits of using them are dramatic.
That is where we leave it. Dr. Anton Meyberg, thank you. As always, Dr. Anton will be with me tomorrow evening, where we'll be talking about hormones. Yeah, hormones. 6 o'clock Tuesday evening. That's both for men and women, how hormones impact our lives and what we can do to protect ourselves.